My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Storm Collectibles New Japan Pro Wrestling, the man, the myth, the legend, Jyushin Thunder Liger. And so here we have Jyushin Thunder Liger posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Jyushin Thunder Liger does come with 5 pairs of hands. We do get a pair of fists. We get a pair of chopping hands. We get a pair of grappling hands. We get a pair of style pose hands. And then we also do get a pair of grasping hands. We of course also do get Jyushin Thunder Liger's entrance cape, and it's a beautiful cape. I love the sculpt work on the plastic parts, and I love the fabric on it, and it has a really nice wire to it, so you can pose it around, so I really love the way that cape came out. Other than that, Jyushin Thunder Liger doesn't come with anything else. I don't know what more you would want to include with him. Hands are good, the cape is awesome. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually have a closer look at the details on the figure. And so here we have a closer look at Jyushin Thunder Liger, and Storm Collectibles has done an amazing job with this figure. There's a lot of things to love about this figure. Couple of things not to like anatomy wise, but we'll get onto that when we have a better look at the rest of the figure. Talking about the head sculpt, that is a very, very good head sculpt. I don't care where you're from, that is perfect for Jyushin Thunder Liger. You can see just the amount of work that went into his mask. It is phenomenal, and I love it. You can see the mesh in his mask. That looks very good. You can see the stitch work where all these designs go, especially right up here. Just all this is perfectly replicated, and it looks just like Jyushin Thunder Liger. I especially love the fact that you can make out his mouth right there. I know a lot of people probably would have liked to see an alternate head, but with a mouth opening that big, does it really matter? I highly doubt it. I really, really love the stitch work in the mask. That is so beautiful, especially right here on these horns going out. Storm Collectibles put a lot of care into the sculpt work on this figure, and you have to. Jyushin Thunder Liger is a legend in the wrestling business, and they did a good job sculpting his hair. It's a nice soft plastic. They even went as far as to put details into the back of the mask where he would tie the mask up. That's a really nice little detail, and I am glad that they did include that. They could have easily just cheaped out and just covered the back of the head with hair, but they actually did the detail there. And just like with the front, it has the stitch work going into it. We even get a little bit of red peeking through right there, and that's accurate. I love that. Taking a look at his costume, we do have probably his most iconic attire with a white with the red and the black lines. You can see he has the gold and blue insignia right here, along with the black outlier, which is all sculpted work. One thing I love about this figure is all the line work, it's sculpted. It's not just painted on. So you see these lines, they're actually raised up and they're painted. So Storm Collectibles really, really went above and beyond for Jyushin Thunder Liger. Although it kind of does, no, I thought that there was some unpainted work right there. But no, that's the way the costume is supposed to be. So we have his chest, which has a lot of nice detail. The arms also sculpted really nicely. Beautiful work here in the back. You can see that metallic blue with the gold just works so nice. Having a look at his arms, you can see he's pretty much wearing a full bodysuit. The line work right here on his arms are done really nice work. We have some wrinkle detail right here in the bicep, right up here in the shoulder. One issue I am noticing is that there's some paint rub in the biceps. That's something that can't be avoided just because they painted this line black and it is rubbing against the white plastic, so do be careful about that. You can see it is starting to rub off up there too. Really love these gold fins right here on his forearms. That's a really nice touch. Right now I do have him with the fist hands, so that's really nice. He gets 5 pairs of hands. So if you can't find something you like about his hands posing wise, maybe you just don't know what to do with your hands. I know that's a terrible joke, but I went with it and I can't go back. Now, taking a look at his belt, again, we have this really nice painted and sculpted detail where you can see it's sculpted all the way through. Even his belt loops have sculpt work on them. So just really loving all this detail. And the paint, for the most part, is clean. There's very few parts where I can say it's sloppy. Maybe like right here at his crotch, but overall that's a really small detail, especially because looking at it forward, you're just going to see white, so it's not that big of a deal. We do have some more wrinkles right here in his bodysuit, so really loving that. That's really good work, especially right here on the inner part of his knee, as it should. That would have wrinkles. Moving on to his kick pads, really love the way Storm Collectibles did these kick pads. You can see we have wrinkles right here. The kick pad itself is nice and sculpted, even the line work right up here. All that is beautifully sculpted. And I know I'm saying beautifully sculpted a lot, but that's because it's true. Everything on him is done really well. Now, at first glance, it looks like that toe joint is completely useless because the kick pad covers that up, but you know what? This is actually a separate piece, just as it would be in real life, so that is amazing that the top of the kick pad is not attached to the foot, and that's the way it is in actual wrestling. The kick pad is just overlaid on their boot just to give them like a design or something, so that's something that blew my mind when I first saw it, so I do love that. So overall, I think Storm Collectibles has nailed it here, with the exception of his anatomy. I kind of feel like his chest should be a little bit bigger, and his back should be a little bit bigger as well. But other than that, it's a small little gripe that I am willing to overlook, because I'm not that big on out of proportion characters, because he's a larger than life character, so I think it fits this character. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Jyushin Thunder Liger posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Jyushin Thunder Liger posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Jyushin Thunder Liger posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we have Jyushin Thunder Liger posed next to a Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat Ninja and a Storm Collectibles Street Fighter figure. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Jyushin Thunder Liger's articulation. He does have a double ball joint in the head, although that ball joint starts right here and ends up somewhere in the torso. We do get a lot of range out of that ball joint, so he can tilt his head side to side really well. Looks left and right, looks up, down, no problem. Spins left and right, and the hair doesn't get in the way, so I do like that. With that ball joint, he can look up a little bit further. He can look down quite a bit. Can tilt his head side to side very much, so I do like that double ball joint with the soft torso. We do have a ball socket in the shoulder, so that does pivot forward and back. Can pivot down, pivots up, all the way around because it is a ball socket going into the torso. His arm does go all the way around, no problems there. We do go out to about there. Using it with the ball joint, it does pop out, so do be aware of that. And that's what I'm talking about with the paint rub. We have some paint rub just inside that torso, so do be aware whenever you're moving him around that some of the paint might rub off on it. You just got to be really careful on what you're rubbing and making sure nothing's rubbing too tightly. So yeah, his arm does go all the way up to about there. Really good range. We do have a bicep swivel, and this is probably one of the biggest points of paint rub that I've noticed, so do be careful when rotating his bicep. We do have a double joint at the elbow, so we get a little past 90 degrees. He's kind of a bulky guy. We do have a ball hinge here at the wrist, so that does go up and down. We can rotate that to have an in and out hinge, and of course it rotates on the peg. We do have I want to say it's a double ball joint right here in the torso, because we can go side to side. Might just be a single, but we do have really nice back movement. Really nice forward movement, although it does gap up. And if we can take a look, yeah, it's a double ball joint, so I really do like that. And of course we do have rotation. We also do have another ball joint down here at the waist, so that does go to the side, to the other side, goes back, goes forward, combining both joints. He crunches much better than a lot of other domestic figures, so I do like that. And of course it does rotate. Legs go out to the side all the way, no problem. He does the splits perfectly. He can kick forward to about there, kicks back to about there. We do have rotation at the thigh. It's a little bit tight on mine, so do be careful. You might have to work your joints around a little bit. Double bend at the knee, going up to about there, works fine. We do have a hinge in the ankle going back and forward. Forward facing pin for rocker ankle. No boot swivel or foot rotation, but we do have a toe hinge which goes to about there and goes back down. So overall, really love the articulation here on Jyushin Thunder Liger. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have Jyushin Thunder Liger posed for my final thoughts, and overall I think Storm Collectibles has knocked it out of the park with this figure. This kind of makes me want to see Storm Collectibles tackle more New Japan Pro Wrestling legend figures. I'm talking about giving us a Misawa, maybe a Hayabusa. I would like to see them maybe give us an attempt at Kenta, who knows. I would like to see them continue this New Japan Pro Wrestling line, assuming they get the rights to certain characters, because Jyushin Thunder Liger here is a phenomenal figure. I love the detailing on him. The articulation is great. You can get him in just about any pose you can think of. Plus the cape. I think the cape is one of the best features on this figure. It has this really nice sequence. It looks good. And the fact that it has a wire running down both sides and the bottom means you can get it posed in a lot of different ways. And part of me wishes I had bought a second one, because I probably would want to keep the cape on one of them and display one of them in his actual wrestling gear. But that's neither here nor there. I think Jyushin Thunder Liger here is a wonderful addition to any wrestling collection. If you're a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, WWE, WCW, he's had a run in every company you can think of. So you can fudge him into your WWE Mattel display. He's going to be a little bit tall, but again, you can kind of fudge him in. So that's a pretty good thing, because Mattel figures do run a little bit bigger. Overall, if you are looking for a Jyushin Thunder Liger here, he is still available on the Bluefin website, bigbadtoystore.com, and I believe Ringside Collectibles still has him up for pre-order, but I might have to double check on that one just because he has been selling out on Ringside Collectibles. But Big Bad Toy Store and Bluefin does have him available ready to ship. If you are looking for him, he will run you about $70. I actually pre-ordered mine day one, so I got him for $60 off Big Bad Toy Store. You're going to pay $70 for yours, but that's still a really good price. He comes with 10 hands, and the possibility of posing him are endless. And this cape, I think this cape alone is worth the $70, but that's me personally. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Storm collectible videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.